Yo, shalom, shalom, shalom. So I'm back again. This is Easton, the lowly Jew, wild man and born of the sky blue, of heaven's dew, the most high true. Now you gotta be careful with people, man. So you have to understand when it comes to crack ability, it comes to the whites here, the pedosexual community, and those who support them and the power that they have, which is very little. Okay, when it comes to, or in relation to, no pun intended, when it the sizes of their penises, okay, in relation to the Most High Yah. So I challenged them on many occasions and said, well, you be a God. You say you're a little dick God, and then pluck me from the hands of God. Okay, fuck him as you say you're going to do. Have your dick all in his ass, nut in his face, force him to rewind back time into me being a child, and force him to make me retain all the memories of everything that you've done to me up to this point, from 6 years old all the way up to this point, and making sure that I'm crippled in a child's body and fucking the shit out of me, and then fucking Christ again, nutting in his face, and then making him rewind back time so I don't exist anymore, then fucking everything in heaven like you said you were going to do. Now, the police backed this too, by the way, and was saying things like this too. So you have to understand, you have to be very careful. Okay, J-Man that was in the video, or JJ the Jet Plane, had stopped by and said that he didn't give a fuck. He didn't. He said, well, I really don't care. I'm just stopping by, particularly. And a lot of the police said this, stopping by to see if you're dead or not. They thought I was done. They thought I just didn't have any strength, and they kept stopping by, calling me anti-Semitic slurs and things of that nature. And they really thought I was done. They thought I gave up, that I was depressed, and all kinds of shit. I got the exact time he came by and said this shit, written down and sent it to my family. But you have to understand the reason why they stopped by, as I heard them say, they really didn't like seeing me with my brother, and they said we didn't like what you said about having the city on lock in relation to the pedosexual community not being able to touch you, emphasizing the fact that I am very peaceable with the police and love police officers. They know this. All I was doing was telling my brother, I said, hey, look, when it came to officers that stopped me in regards to some issues I was having with Tim Hortons, I said, well, look, this has nothing to do, officer, with your pension or your badge or your gun, and I don't want you to get involved in this. Okay? The real issue here, which I have legal grounds to sue them now, and I explained the situation, which I'm not going to get into again, when it came to Christy coming out, being very unprofessional. So at the end of the conversation, I called her a fucking bitch. Because even though I was having issue with her workers that were in there, I said, I don't have an issue with you. So it's called, it's called the ability to differentiate between those who are against you and those who are not. Christy did not show me her ass or give me a reason to treat her like the asshole that her co-workers were, and treating me as such. So at the end of the day, she showed her ass, and then so I said, I was very logical, and I said, well, ma'am, particularly what you're using, the concept of what you're doing here, and you're saying, this is what she was saying. She's saying, well, if we're calling you niggers and stuff like that, and she included herself in that too, are you that? Why are you reacting? I said, man, well, I'm not reacting. She's reacting, and I'm not bothering her, and I'm standing on your property. You don't understand the legal situation here, what you're doing. And I kept trying to explain to her. I said, but she wouldn't let me get to that point. I said, look, I don't have anything against you, but if you're calling me boys and you're talking about fucking kids, okay, and I'm not even bothering you. You're coming out here supporting this, Christy. I mean, shit, I was going to ask for a fucking job. But I said, fuck that shit. And then she's cursing me on, and she said, well, leave. Get off the property. And I said, well, this is not your property. It's an open, vacant fucking lot. I was stopping and resting. Because dumbasses like you in your community were fucking harassing me. So all I did was call her a fucking bitch. And I was very respectful when I gave her time to speak, and she kept interrupting me. She kept saying, well, are you that? Are you a nigger? Are you a boy? Did we fuck your boy? She was just getting really, she's really old bat, the old hag. So they said a lot of demonic things. And then they continued, and then I made recordings of this. and linked it up to Family Guy or Family Dollar. So it was real fucking stupid. I said, damn, they yelling all the way from over there. I made some really death-defying recordings that are really good recordings. So you have to understand here, they didn't like me telling my brother the ins and outs of the city and me telling him, do not trust anybody. No one here could be trusted. Unless you know them personally, that they're not a part of this after you left and you formed covenants with them. In so many words, this is what I said, you know, and they're not trying to get me in bed. Okay? And trying to give me head according to every word that they spoke and said against Jesus Christ, against the believers, the elect, and our family, talking about hanging our family tree. The police particularly emphasized this, okay? The firemen, the ER, Border Patrol, and I was telling them about Border Patrol and all them and shit like that. And we didn't really have much time, but after when the police left, I told them everything. I was kind of heated. And I said, wait a minute, here you bring your ass over here. And you just double down, particularly. You being very much complicit, if not more, than your community. Now, I posted some quotes online when they said, and it's different variations, they said, now we don't have to be bigots, we could just use our own community. So when they're cheering in the background, when we go to court, and I have all these recordings, and then I made recordings after that, and confronted Little Dick Pondot with the dumb shit they were saying, call me niggas, after the fact, while I was standing with my brother, and he heard that shit too. Okay? I think Jay called me boy on the fucking video. I have to go back and look at it. They did call me Eli, and I said, yo, Geronimo. I said, when they call me Eli, that's an anti-Semitic slur, and it's linked to neo-Nazism, penis Nazism, the KKK, the Proud Boys, or pubescent boys fucking kids, Numbler Association, all these things, and including the alphabet that I created in all the recordings. So they're fucked. So every time when they approach me with that dumb shit, they're fucked. And I'm just ever so kind. I have nothing against the police. So every time they come and try to interrupt us, what we're doing, when we just clarify that we explain this, and they don't come over here when the crackers come, over here to harass me, or Little Dick Pondot, Little Dick Conda. I got so many recorders on them motherfuckers. And they know. They don't say shit. So when we get together, when we're trying to do something positive, they bring their asses over here, right? Seems like the only time they really fucking care is when they think they have something on us or me and can harm me. I put my salvation on that shit. Do they ever really try to help me out? Well, we'll let the courts decide in social media in the Shemitic sphere, or they call the blackosphere. Because you know, when we get in people's ass, we get in their ass. When we talk that shit, it lasts. Okay? Think about all the legendary comedians out there that's gonna get a hold of this shit. I let them use my life as material, especially to slay the crackers. I'm all about that shit, the cracker nobility particularly, not the disposable whites. So you have to understand, they're anti-intellectual. They're so fucking stupid. The white man is so fucking dumb. Can't figure out the way out of. They can't figure out the way out of the fucking box. When it comes to the lubrication of their women's vaginal sensation of sexual gratification, they're so fucking stupid. We don't like our over intellectual boy, because you're an idiot. You're a fucking idiot. You're anti-intellectual. Okay? Alright, just like you're anti-Semitic. Anti-Semitic, excuse me. Alright? Anti-intellectualism. A lot of people don't understand why I don't talk to the whites, because they're too dumb. There's things that I like to talk about, but you're too fucking jealous and stupid. You're not on my level. And I'm mildly retarded and high-functioning autistic. So I can't relate to you. All you want to do is look down at my dick, my happy trail, or find out how much hair's on my body that you can rub up against. Put my salvation on it. They have a fetish for hair, especially anal hair. Dingleberries, they get attracted, they get turned on by the filth. Put my salvation on it. They talked about it all the time. They talk about it, not even talked. They talk about it all the time. So I'm sitting up in this motherfucker right here, and I'm working. You gotta understand. You know, they try to catch me shitting, they try to catch me pissing, whatever, mind you. But you just gotta forgive them. Just like, fuck it, you know what? Motherfucker, you got caught slipping. Now you can't use the police against me, because not only am I pacifists and a conscientious objector, which I told my brother, I said, look, you know, I'm not a violent man. So I told the police, and I said, look, do I look like I'm violent? Are we really up to no good? Huh? So when they brought their asses over there, it made my fucking day. I said, and told my brother, I said, you know what? You are just as much a part of this case as I am now. You know. And then some. So I thank you. And I said, if anyone gives you any issues in this city, let me fucking know. Because I get on them in prayer, fasting, and financially as well, if it be by the Lord's will. No, I word some shit up without even trying. Lord's giving me the gift of gab. They take everything personal here. Everything's fucking personal. Everything. Why is that? Because everything I'm saying is true. They can't dispute the facts. That they got little lumberjacks. But like I say, it is what it is. All praise to the Most High, yeah. I do enjoy my job. Cleaning their corn off the cob. In relation to legality's job. As they yell in the background, we don't like our secret niggers because my dick is so small. Pussy stinks. I put my salvation, look. You see how calm and cool collected I am? They're so fucking insane. Penile insanity. These crackers are fucking stupid. That's why I had to cut them all out of my life. Generationally speaking. I never mentioned this on videos. I cut them all out of my life, generationally speaking. So if I'm a minister and I choose not to minister to you, and then everything I do is based off of God, and all the times I write down and all the evidence I have is based off of Jesus Christ, you're Christian, as you say. You know, Christianity is such a funny thing when it comes to the white man and white Jesus. Where is your God now that I challenge white Jesus? Where is he now? What about the size of his fucking penis? Christos Serapis. That's a lot of fucking sunblock he'd need being out there in that desert. Just saying. Very hot. When you look at the geographical locations Jesus was, it's extremely hot. Okay? I mean, he had to go to fucking Egypt when he was a child to hide. Based off the complexion of his skin. To blend in with the Egyptians. Because Herod, which is Jewish, the Herodians, the whites, particularly what they were considered, was trying to kill him. After King Herod died, you know, the coast was clear, you know, according to the Most High Yah, he was safe for some time. But like I say, it is what it is. You have to understand things from a trilateral perspective. Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. Things that you can't see. I didn't see the police coming. My brother did. He said, yeah, they're coming right now. He told me to start recording. I said, yeah, bet. He knew they were up to no fucking good. You know what I'm saying? And I said, yo, look, I know this is this is white trash's hood. So, you know, this spot right here is a key cornerstone of the case and harassment. So they might be coming over here to tell us to move or some shit. And I say, yo, it's cool. It's cool. You know, which I figured that it wasn't that. They were just coming over being nosy. And it was cool. but just the things in the background and the things that were said. And, you know, a lot of times when they ask questions, what they would do is they would weaponize my answers and try to use them against me. But even they said, because he's so well-spoken and so articulate in his manner of speaking and knowing the law, we don't have nothing on our boy, as they were pulling off. So that's why I showed all the police calls, and I said, wait a minute. Let's not stop recording now. I said, let's not stop. Let us not stop recording now. Let's is a variation of just let us. Okay. Because they're still here. So what they'll do is they'll come back over if I'm not recording, and they might say some juicy dirt, and then we're fucked. So we have to catch this. So I said, give me a minute. So I walked around the corner. I said, yep, they're still there. And I got license plate numbers, you know, as much as I could. And I said, let's wait for them to leave. Because they're dirty. But I don't give them an opportunity to get dirty with me. In relation to me, I'm squeaky clean, motherfucker. So you're going to have to plant some crack on me and some cocaine. And that shit won't stick at all. Because I don't do shit. They'll do some shit like that if they can get away with it. Get me locked up in the system. A lot of them say they want to get me locked up, you know, pat me down, put their fingers up my ass because they have to do this, and just to see my dick too, and humiliate me, and have me a state boy, become a state boy. Put my salvation on it. For a while they were calling me state boy and stuff like that. Stupid shit like that. Take away my freedom, give me a felony so I can't go overseas. Expand my endeavors and my opportunities and possibilities. Shit like that. But all praise to the Most High Yah. Shalom, shalom, and shalom. Mazel tov. You guys have a nice one now. By the way, my mother did call too. So they were talking shit about her too. I think someone said a bitch. Motherfucker. She made a good breeder. She's a good breeder. All kinds of shit. You know what's so fucked up about this dude? The police heard this shit, man. They be hearing this shit. You know what I'm saying? What I heard, they hear a lot of things, but they, you know, they cherry pick. They only seem to retain what gets to me or what they think gets to me and repeat it. She make a good breeder. She made a nice, big, strong-ass boy. 2 strong-ass boys. Put my salvation on it. They were saying, we don't like our Jerron. We don't like our Aaron. Jerron boy. Aaron boy. They were saying all kinds of dumb shit. I said, okay. All this was happening while I was talking to them. That's disrespectful as hell. Because they're so fucking miserable and they'll never be a part of my life. I said, bitch, don't you ever say you know me. Well, you can't even respect my mother, my family, shit like that. You can't even talk to us. You will never be a part of our fucking lives. You be a part of making us rich and secure financially, bitch. We gonna talk shit about you all the time like we were sitting up there talking shit the whole time. You couldn't do shit about it. Really, it was after the fact, particularly. I didn't give a fuck. I said all kinds of shit. And wish somebody would come over there and say some shit. And I did challenge them too. And they shut the fuck up. Like they always do. Because they bitches. But like I say, it is what it is. They all pussy. I thought I saw the putty cat. I did. With the pussy. As a pussy. And the pussy with a little bat. And that's that. Shalom, shalom, and shalom. Mazel tov. Bum.